Hey guys, my name is Anthony and in today's video I'm going to be doing another League Racing Highlights video. So if you do enjoy this, make sure to hit the like button at any given point of the video, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. But this is IRL round 9 and it's a little bit different, this one, compared to the usual format of these races. And basically what's happening is that we're doing a full 100% race around Silverstone short, and we're not doing qualifying for this. This is a reverse grid from what happened in the previous race, which I'll let you see what happened from my point of view right now. Flickering. What the hell is going on? How could I have such bad... Wow, my light is literally gone. You know what, guys, I'm gonna continue the race, but I'm gonna end the stream here because clearly there's just... And yeah, so as you can see, not the greatest luck from me in terms of what happened in the previous race. Our light bulb ended up completely blowing on us midstream, so I had to really try and fix that as soon as possible, which means that I had to end up leaving the race, leaving the stream, and sorting all of that out. But as we actually start this race already, you can see that the Mercedes actually spun going out of turn 6, I believe that corner is, I'm not 100% sure, maybe turn 5 or something like that, and he ended up going into the back of us, which caused his race to basically be finished, because this track is so short that if you have to go to the pits because of a mistake or wing damage or something like that, there's a very high chance that you're going to be lapped. So it's pretty much over for him. And as you can see, Chile ended up sliding at the final corner as well. So we've managed to gain back the positions that we lost on the first lap, because we didn't really have a good first lap whatsoever. So at this point in time, now that we've gained our position back, I want to try and stay within the DRS of the front guys. At the time, I thought that if I could have some solid pace throughout this race, then we could definitely get a good result, considering that we started in the top 3, which originally we were supposed to start in 6th place, so I'm not sure why we started P3, but we were going to take that opportunity and run with it. But the one thing that I do want to say that I felt as if it was a big mistake by me in this race is that we were very passive. You may have noticed that Salt had just passed us there, and we didn't even try to defend the position from him. We really just let him through, and that was actually pretty much the main thing that we were doing throughout this entire race. As you can see, the Mercedes now, we've actually lapped the Mercedes. That's how short this track is. If you make a mistake and you have to pit, Silverstone already has the longest, or one of the longest, pit lanes on the entire calendar. So you make one mistake and have to go into the pits unnecessarily, and you're going to be lapped. But moving on to lap 4, after a safety car incident, you can see we end up going wide here at Stowe, and once again we just let our teammate through. Just no aggression, just passiveness here. And as we come up to the final chicane, you can see that someone goes down the inside and hits us from behind. That was actually St. Critch who hit us from behind. He went for a really ambitious move, and he knocked into us, which then meant that we knocked into Trapman, and Trapman ended up getting wing damage from that. So yeah, St. Critch did receive a 5-second penalty, I believe, for that incident, but luckily for us, we didn't actually receive any wing damage from that incident, so we could still push forward. However, we did receive some sort of damage from that because we've lost DRS to our teammate, and considering that we were already driving quite slow compared to what I thought I could do, and considering that we were being very passive, not aggressive enough, then yeah, it wasn't really a good thing to be out of the DRS of the person ahead. And as we move all the way up to lap 12 now, because nothing was really going on, we wasn't really catching up Choco and Aiden, who was ahead, and we were losing quite a lot of time to the guys behind, to the point where at lap 12 you can see now that Blaze Exposure and CRG Smasher has now caught up to us, and CRG Smasher actually started from the back, I believe. So that's how much time we were losing. And once again, going into Stowe, it's the same story as it has been for the previous laps. We just let the person behind us just dive down the inside and make the move stick. We just was not being aggressive enough this race, and that is why we lost out on so many positions. And we're about to see, I believe at the end of this lap, another instance of us just not being aggressive enough and just letting everybody through. And to be honest with you guys, I don't actually know why I was as passive this race. I don't know if it was just the fact that obviously last week was still playing on my mind and I was just focused on too many other things and making sure that other things wasn't going wrong, and it wasn't really allowing me to concentrate on my racing, but we just wasn't being aggressive enough. But as we come up to Stowe now, we're using our DRS and the slipstream, and again we just brake too late, we go wide, and that allows CRG Smasher to go down our inside. But not only that, his teammate actually manages to squeeze on the outside. Even though we squeezed him, he still managed to poke through, and he ended up gaining a position on us as well. So now in a single lap we have lost 2 positions, and things are not really looking good for us at this point in time. So once again, as I said before with previous people, I just wanted to try and stick within the DRS, but they actually ended up shooting off down the road, and you can see now as we move on to lap 25 that Dark Killer is actually ahead of us, and that's actually because he made a mistake himself and he ended up losing the positions to Smasher, Exposure and St. Critch as well. So someone who's relatively on the same pace as me in terms of this league, I thought, okay, this is a good opportunity to use his DRS to really continue to try and push towards the guys who are ahead. He doesn't go into the pits this lap. He actually ends up going into the pits next lap, which I'll explain more in a second. But at this point, I just wanted to try and stick with him as long as possible and just stay in the DRS, use his speed to really catch up to the guys ahead, so that we can at least try and gain some sort of opportunity to be aggressive and gain those positions back that we lost due to our passiveness earlier on in the race. Now coming up to this corner now, if you guys have played around Silverstone Short, you guys know that that corner is really annoying, because you can literally take that corner the exact same way on 2 separate laps, but on the first lap it won't give you a warning, and on the second lap it will give you a warning, and I just don't understand what's going on with the track limits there. But as we come up to lap 26 now, Dark Killer ends up going in the pits, and personally I felt as if that was a little bit too early. That's why I didn't follow him in. I thought that, you know, you can at least take these medium tires to around about lap 33 around Silverstone Short. So I definitely thought to myself, okay, if I can take these tires just a few more laps, then hopefully we should have a lot fresher tires than Dark Killer, and that means that we can really attack him when the moment arises. So at the end of lap 28 we decided to go into the pits following, I believe that's Smasher, or maybe it's Blaze Exposure, I'm not 100% sure. But as we move on to the end of the pit lane, as you guys know, Silverstone has one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar. As you can see, Dark Killer now has undercutted us, and he's undercutted us by quite a big margin. We were still inside of his DRS by the time that he pitted, and now we're 2 seconds behind him. So that means we've lost a minimum at least 1.3 seconds to Dark Killer through that undercut, and that's just after not pitting for another 2 laps. So you can lose a lot of time through the undercut because of how long the pit lane is and how short this track is. But at this point I just wanted to try and get back inside of the DRS for Dark Killer and really try and again be aggressive, because I just wasn't being aggressive enough. But as you can see ahead of us, our teammate is actually ahead of us still on the medium tires, and that's actually because he disconnected. So at this point of time I am the only driver in the Haas car who is still in this race. So I wanted to just try and get past him as quickly as possible. Obviously his car is transparent, so we can just drive through him and continue pushing on, so that we can at least try and get decent a result for at least one of the cars in the Haas team, as he kept disconnecting. I'm not sure what was going on with his internet. He usually doesn't disconnect this often, so maybe he was just having, you know, freak accidents basically where his internet kept disconnecting from him. But as we move on to lap 43 now, Dark Killer has continued to push on, and I don't know if it's because maybe we had too much fuel in the car, or maybe it was because the normal Silverstone setup just doesn't vibe with the short version of the track. But again, we just did not have the pace, and you can see now that the AlphaTauri of CSR can't actually see his name properly. I don't know if that's mainland or something like that. I think it's mainland, but yeah, he's actually caught up to us, and he was quite a far distance behind us when we actually pitted. And you can see now we ended up getting a penalty, which we only got warnings at that corner. So that just shows how annoying that corner was. Every other corner, we didn't get a single warning this entire race, but that corner gave us a penalty single-handedly. I don't know what it is about that corner. The track limits are just so bad on strict for that corner. But yeah, once again, just still being passive, we let the AlphaTauri past us, and there's not really much I can say in terms of how passive we were. It's just something I've got to take on board, and I know now that in future races, especially in IRL, I'm going to have to defend a lot more aggressively, because if I don't, then this is just going to keep repeating itself, and this is the worst case scenario when you're starting towards the front and you're just consistently losing positions because you're not actually fighting for those positions. But yeah, we're on lap 45 out of 52, almost at the end of the race, and you can see now that Mainland, I still don't even know if that's his name. I really can't see it on the Sony Vegas preview, but he is half a second actually ahead of us, so we're losing a bit of time. But if we can stay with him, then that means that we will gain the position, and I was pretty confident that I wasn't going to get another penalty, because once again, the only corner I was really getting warnings at was that weird corner, I believe it's turn 5 or turn 6, and even then we wasn't exactly getting warnings every single lap. So yeah, we were definitely getting more and more used to taking that corner a bit better. As you can see, we take it there, we don't actually get a warning, so I was really confident that we wasn't going to get another penalty. So as long as we can stay within the 3-second gap of him, then we are definitely going to be getting the position on him. And he actually continued to stack up on penalties. Actually, I think by this point he's already got 9 seconds worth of penalties, and by the end of the race he gains another penalty as well, so he ends up with 12 seconds. So that means we have a 9-second window to stay with him in order to gain the position on him. As we come up to the final lap now, you can see we got another warning from that corner. It's just so weird. I don't know how it works, but yeah, you can get warnings on certain laps, and then other laps you won't, even if you take the corner the exact same. But as you can see, CRG Smasher ended up winning that race, so he pretty much did a last to first. So I don't know if he actually is planning on uploading any content, but if he is, then he's probably gonna upload this as a last to first in the league race. But we finished in P5, so we managed to recover at least P5 starting from P3. So we didn't actually end up losing as many positions as I thought I did, but at the same time, you know, it just wasn't aggressive enough. I feel as if, even though we didn't have the pace this race, if I was just a little bit more aggressive, we could have finished even higher on the grid just through fighting for positions. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy this league racing video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click that red button and subscribe to the channel for more league racing content in the future. And I hope to see you guys soon in my next video.